Yo, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. Despite how many videos are up, and I'm doing it kind of consistently, it has actually been a while since I last recorded, so forgive me if I'm a little fuzzy on what we last did. But from the looks of things, we've, already found out that Jean Grey Earl is not a boy, and now we're going to, I believe, talk about the crime that happened a couple months back with the alchemist. I think he died, and that was the only case that was never solved. So let's get on that.
At around 1 o'clock at night, I excused myself and left Master Belduc in his study. When I called him for breakfast in the morning, he did not respond. The door to his study was locked. A neighbor had come for a visit just then, so we forced the door open together. All the potions and the other concoctions from this study have been confiscated. I wonder if they're being properly stored.
Potions and concoctions were confiscated? The victim was an alchemist, after all. We were hoping the items confiscated from his study could provide some clues. Besides, such things must not fall into the wrong hands. It may not be standard practice, but it was deemed necessary. The confiscated goods are stored in our secret vault. The only person with access to them is the High Inquisitor, Lady Darklaw.
It has caused me great difficulty, as I have not been able to put Master's research materials in order as a result.
The confiscated items shall be returned as soon as Sir Belduc's murder is resolved.
I shall be looking forward to that.
Defense, you may begin the interrogation. Cross-examination! Okie dokie. We're going to be pressing on about the neighbor coming by to help open the door and stuff. There we go. Hold it! Wait, you mean you broke the door? The only key to that room was in Sir Belduc's pocket. The only way to enter the study was to break the door open. And you managed that with the help of a neighbor who came to visit?
Yes, it wasn't a social visit, mind. He came as a patient.
A patient? Can you tell me more about him?
Objection!
The victim's neighbor is irrelevant. He has nothing to do with this case. I think you're pushing it this time. A witness is hardly irrelevant. You know, he has a point there, Barnum. What's got him so shaken? He looks as if he's just had a rush of blood to the head.
Master Belduc had been making very potent medicines, among other things. We would get people coming from the town at all hours of the day or night asking for them. And yet, in return for all the help Master offered, people would gossip about him dabbling in witchcraft.
So you broke the door together with a neighbor?
Yes. When I explained the situation to him, he brought over an axe. Then he proceeded to attack the door with great force, smashing it into splinters.
I see. By the way, about that neighbor. Who was...
Hold it!
Oh, maybe I know why Barnum didn't want to say
Time for
anything.
Emeer's grand entrance. Did you miss me, guys?
No! But now I understand why maybe Barnum didn't want to say anything.
Order! Order! Could it be that it was you who...
Where are you looking, old man? I'm right here. And as for who I am, I'm the alchemist's neighbor and a witness in that case too.
Oh my god, why?
Passion for justice seething within. Emeer is always at the crime scene.
Objection!
It's you again. You're the guy from earlier, right?
Yep, that's me, Emeer's the name. How you been, Bluey?
Are you really the alchemist's neighbor? Seriously?
I know, right? Freaking coincidence, eh? But yeah, his house is next to mine.
ridiculed earlier. Emeer returns, drinking like a king. He never ever learns.
That's why I tried to stop you from asking about the neighbor. Huh? Why are you so cold, Inquisitor Barnum? Oops. Oh, that's not what I meant to do.
Unable to hold his steady, cold gaze, Emeer drinks fast as if in a daze.
And the musician standing next to you.
Yeah, that's me private bard, Birdley. Hey, write music is genius. Hold on. Oh, dearie me.
Oh, dearie me. Welcome to the circus trial. Well, no use shutting the stable door after the horse was bolted. Let us move on. Witness, since you're already here, you may as well add your testimony. Testify about what you witnessed on the morning after the crime.
You can count on me.
I don't want to count on you for anything. And what is with that bottle?
It dawned on me then. The witch cast Famalia, just like in this case.
Alright, whatever, buddy. That's just...
Objection!
No. There's something you don't seem to understand here, Mr. Emeer. The Famalia gem in this witch's scepter is a fake. The gem is useless. Just like this buffoon's testimony.
Eh?
Therefore, your testimony doesn't hold water. Just like anything else he says. Psh.
What?
Ignored and scorned without credibility. Little majestic Emeer, now show humility?
What? A fake?
You should have listened to the trial more carefully. Now that has been dealt with, Inquisitor Barnum, this witch's scepter was not discovered at the crime scene when Sir Burduke was murdered, is that correct? Indeed, we deduced that Famalia must have been used, however.
Objection!
But that Famalia gem was a fake. That much has been demonstrated today. What's more, as we've learned from Cracker the parrot's testimony, the witch used the spell Goldor. The fact that there's a green wall at the crime scene corroborates that.
Objection!
Blech. English. That wall may well not have been painted green 3 months ago. And besides, no one could have passed through a portal so small. To be honest, I've started wondering, were Sir Layton's and Sir Belduke's murders actually committed by the same witch?
Objection!
Your Honor, I'd like to remind you that was the Inquisition's claim. Touché. He's right though, it's gotta be the same culprit in both cases. And at the very least, it's possible that the witch used the spell Goldor to commit Sir Belduke's murder. What? In that case, I will ask the defense to show us proof. Do you have proof that the witch could have used Goldor to kill Sir Belduke? Sure. Let's look at the crime scene sketches.
Take that!
I'd like you to take a look at these. Aren't those the court illustrator's sketches? As you can see from this sketch, the victim was seated at his desk when he was murdered. And what can you see right behind the victim? A small landscape painting. Thank you, Inquisitor, but there's one more point of note. Look closely at the painting. Do you notice anything behind it? Oh, I see it! The wall behind it had already been painted green, which means the witch could have used the portal spell from there 3 months ago.
Objection!
One moment, my lord. Consider how small that portal would have been. Could a witch have passed through it? I think not.
Objection!
I think it's not. Of course, the witch would not be able to go right through it. However, if you look at the distance between the portal and the victim, you'll notice that the victim, Sir Belduke, was sitting just an arm's length from where the portal would have been. The witch did not have to enter the room at all. All she had to do was reach through with her arms in order to strangle Sir Belduke, who was sitting right under the painting. Rubble. Order, Inquisitor Barnum. What say you to that? A fascinating theory, Sir Blue Knight. But I deny it! But there is a notable contradiction within it. Where would that be? Tell me, why do you think we concluded that Famalia had to have been used? We had a certain reason for it, of course. And what was that reason exactly? The crime scene had been tampered with. How so? Imagine the circumstances of Sir Belduke's death. It should become obvious even to you. The victim was choked to death. And yet there were no signs of struggle. Highly improbable, don't you think? What are you getting at? Think about it. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we have found any, that must have mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. Indeed, that would be the logical conclusion. Now, surely it would be impossible to deduce any such thing had the witch only reached inside through a portal. In order to cover up the evidence she left behind, the witch had to have used a familiar. Without doing so, there would have been no point in her using the spell Goldor.
Objection!
Miss Grey Earl could have done it. She might have been able to tamper with the crime scene. What are you talking about? The morning of the crime. From the time Miss Grey Earl and that guy entered the study, until the arrival of the Knights of the Inquisition, there was a window of time in which she had the opportunity to do so. We need to look into what happened in that window. It seems we may be in need of another testimony. Witnesses, testify about what happened in the time between the body being found and the Knights of the Inquisition arriving.
Sure thing. Ask me anything. I'll tell you all you need to know.
Oh, glorious Emeer, tell us more. Maybe you won't be laughed at as before.
Only 2 people accessed the crime scene in that time, Grey Earl and Emeer. Believe it or not, Emeer is the key witness in this case. Of course. Oh god. After discovering the body.
I broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair. Gave me a jolt. You butler heard called the Knights of the Inquisition. He never entered the study. I was asked to keep an eye on things, so I went in to have a bit of look around at everything. Oh, that made me pretty drowsy, so I went and took a little nap in the couch.
Wait, what? Mr. Emeer, you said the butler didn't enter the crime scene?
Yep, he never set foot in there. The moment he saw Belduke, he told me to stand guard till the Knights of the Inquisition arrived. And then off we went. What a resourceful apprentice that alchemist has. I thought to myself.
I almost feel sorry for you, Sir Blue Knight. After all, your suspect couldn't have tampered with the crime scene. But that can't be true. Defense, please proceed with the interrogation. Well, maybe it wasn't him and her, and maybe it was Emeer. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, we're gonna be pressing on him keeping an eye on things, right? I'm not sure if he really did keep an eye on things, honestly.
Hold it!
What were you doing? What were you having a look at?
Oh, well, I was asked to take care of the crime scene, wasn't I? So I had to, make sure everything was in order. I mean, you know,
And you are really sounding like you tampered something in there.
it's not like I went wild with excitement after being left in the real alchemist's room full of mysterious stuff.
Even more suspicious. I'm sure you didn't, Mr. Sticky Fingers.
And besides, she asked me to look for something, so I was doing that too.
Can't refuse a request from a lady, am I right? Uh-oh, I think I just skipped right over that.
Emeer's lesser-known gentlemanly side. Had me surprised if I may so confide.
Girl asked him to look for something. What's that? This is news to me. What were you asked to look for? Enlighten us, witness.
Well, what was it? I can't remember.
Well, maybe if you didn't drink so much.
Does it matter? In the end, whatever it was, I never found it. I remember that.
Okay, I gotta press on him again. Because I skipped right over it. Sorry. Got too into reading.
Hold it!
Alright.
You looking for something?
Hang on!
Miss Grey Earl, you look lost in thought.
Oh, were you talking to me?
Even she can't be caught off guard if I choose the right moment. You have been listening to Mr. Emeer's testimony, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
He was asked to look for something. It was you who asked him, I assume. What did you tell him to look for?
I think you've mistaken. I don't remember making any request of that sort.
Huh?
Oi, Bluey! Were you even listening to what I said? It was a lady that asked me. The butler is a guy, you numbskull.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Bump.
Hey, what's up? Why is everyone looking at me like that?
Quite a while ago, we learned that the butler, Jean Grey Earl, is actually female.
What?
That's why when you said a lady asked you to search for something, we assumed it was Miss Grey Earl.
What? What?
Daydreaming and listening, but not hearing. The look of shock is almost endearing.
What the? Why didn't anyone tell me before?
Do you require a personal notification? You should have been listening to the trial. Knights of the court, squabbling with a witness is most unseemly. What I would like to know now is this. Who was the lady that made the request of Emeer?
Oh yeah, that was actually Miss...
Oh, there we go.
I think, he's absolutely certainly talking about me.
She's so cute.
Oh, and you are?
Oh, I'm Letty. Hang on a minute. I'll get down there post-haste.
Post haste.
But, Miss Letty, who are you precisely?
Wow, you guys.
Who am I? I'm Letty Mailer. I'm the courier.
Come on, you guys. You see her every day sending letters to you. The courier?
A courier is a person who collects and delivers letters or packages.
I know. Thanks anyways, Bella. I wish she stopped misreading my mind. Hold on, Miss Mailer. Do you mean it was you who irresponsibly made such a request to that troublemaker?
Me? Maybe, yes, I guess so. I asked him to help me find something.
Outrageous! Why was I not informed of this?
I guess no one told you. Maybe because you didn't ask?
The knight's life is suffering. It seems we will need to ask you to testify, Miss Mailer. Explain to us how you were involved in this case.
Frankly, I wouldn't say I was involved in anything. Now I'm in a tight spot. I bet it's because that guy said something weird about me.
Oh, ease up on me, lady, like the saying goes. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. Beats being in a pickle all on your own, eh?
Emeer, no. Now then, Miss Letty Mailer, testify about that day. That voice could make windows shatter. Don't put her next to Apollo Justice, Phoenix, right? Or was it Robin Newman too, yeah?
Sir Duke said he had a letter to send, so I came by to pick it up.
So now we know there was a third witness.
But Miss Mailer only came to pick up a letter. That doesn't help much, does it? Well, perhaps there's more to it than meets the eye.
A letter, huh? But Duke was about to send a letter to someone before he was killed. It may not be relevant to this case, but something about that is bothering me. Maybe it's worth asking Letty about it. Alright, let's present the blank letter. Is this what you're looking for, Letty?
Objection!
The letter you found that morning. Was it by any chance this one here?
Yes, that's the one. But wait, how did you get it? You're a piece of work, all right.
Objection!
Hold it, Sir Blue Knight. How did you come by that letter? It's just sort of fell into my lap, so to speak. It was the professor who found it, but he doesn't need to know that. Wow, Phoenix! Defender, just what in the world are the contents of that letter? Well, the letter's blank. What? All this fuss over a blank letter. As you can see, there are some sheets of parchment inside the envelope. Indeed, and there's not a trace of ink on them. What is the meaning of this? Don't forget that Sir Belduc was an alchemist. He may have used some kind of invisible ink to write that letter. Indeed. Oops.
About that, it doesn't make sense to me.
What? Miss Mailer?
The thing is, when I saw that letter, all the pages were full of writing. So, you know.
Objection!
Hold it, witness. You saw the contents of Sir Belduc's letter. Why did you open it?
I didn't read it. It's just that, you see,
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what? Witness, this is an important matter. You will need to testify about it. Tell us what you know about this letter. Witness testimony!
that night, probably about 1 a.m., I made a delivery to Sir Belduc. He was writing a letter at the time. It'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. That's what he said. I left to study and wished the butler a good night. Then I went home. I went there again the next morning as promised. Sir Belduc was... well, anyway, I looked for the letter. Then that guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter.
I see. So, you witnessed the victim write the letter?
I wouldn't say witness. That sounds so illegal. The sheets of parchment were on his desk, though. I saw that. And they were covered in writing, margin to margin.
But you don't know what the letter was about. Ow.
Telling you would be a breach of our privacy policy. I can't reveal its contents or who it was addressed to.
Oh, of course, I understand.
Frankly, I didn't get close enough to Sir Belduc's desk, so I couldn't make out what he was writing.
In any case, where did you find the letter the morning after the victim was found dead?
On a shelf next to his desk, in a small letterbox. Ah, yes, right there, next to his head. I was a teeny little bit scared, though, coming so close to a dead man.
So that's where she took the letter from. It was right next to the corpse, huh? Ugh. Now that the circumstances are cleared, we shall proceed to the cross-examination. Cross-examination! Alright. Excuse me. Alright, we're going to press on Mailer when she was talking about leaving the study and wishing the butler good night.
Hold it!
Wait a minute. When you said the butler, you mean...
Miss Grey Earl, of course. She was in the corridor, carrying a tray.
Uh-oh. Yeah, come on, move.
Hang on!
Miss Grey Earl, I'd like to ask you something.
Oh, certainly. What is it?
You stated previously that you excused yourself and left Sir Belduc's study shortly after 1 a.m.
Yes, that is correct.
However, according to Miss Mailer's testimony, the two of you came across each other while you were waiting outside that room. Oh boy. Why did you mention that? Why didn't you mention that until now?
That's because... I apologize. I'm afraid I completely forgot to mention it.
You forgot.
Miss Miller very often comes with deliveries during the night. I did see her that night as well, but I didn't think much of it, as it's nothing unusual. I had no reason to hide that from you. Please forgive me for the confusion.
I don't think that's what they're after here. Well, that kind of thing can happen. Human memory is in no way perfect. I don't imagine there's a problem here, is there? On the contrary, Your Honor. There's one more thing Miss Grayle forgot to mention. What is it? I'd like you to recall what Miss Miller said about having met Miss Grayle that night.
Miss Grayle, of course, was in the corridor carrying a tray.
Well, Miss Grayle, apparently you were carrying a tray at the time. What do you have to say about that? We're in trouble. She's in trouble. Jean Grayle, I believe you should add that to your testimony.
As you wish, me lord.
It's unlikely she really forgot about it. The fact she tried to hide it must mean something.
Miss Miller left just as I was bringing Master his usual drink.
Hold it!
What do you mean by usual drink?
When Master's experiments continue into late hours, he would always have some juice to ward off sleepiness.
What kind of juice?
Tomato juice.
Eh? Alright, for once we do actually press on in here.
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister. Mister! Well, I ain't know nothing about it! Nothing! Nothing at all! That is very suspicious, Emeer. Witness, what have you done this time?
Don't give me that scary look, Inquisitor Barnum! Oh, it was only just a little bit.
Seriously, hardly anything. Oh my goodness, hardly anything at all. What are you talking about?
Huh? What do you think I'm talking about? The juice, the tomato juice, of course.
The tomato juice? Oh, you didn't. Surely even you wouldn't.
Well, like I told you before, I think I sort of overdid it a bit the previous night. When I woke up, me head was pounding. That's why I went to see the alchemist. But you know what happened? And when I was left alone in the alchemist study, it kind of caught me eye. The bottle, I mean.
The tomato juice.
I thought it might make the headache go away, you know?
So you drank it? The juice you found at the crime scene?
Well, why shouldn't I? It's a drink, ain't it? What else do you do with a drink? Oh my god. You drank it, right?
I both love and hate Emeer. And can you tell us where that bottle is now? Come to think of it, I don't remember seeing it at the crime scene.
It has been confiscated.
Confiscated?
As I mentioned previously, the occult crime analysis confiscated all of Master's personal belongings from the crime scene.
Well, is that so? Well, I believe we should take a note of that bottle and add it to the court record.
Yeah, so there I was, having a bit of juice when that girl came around. Ow. To tell you the truth, I don't quite remember what happened after that.
That's when he passed out, huh? Oh, okay, so we got that. So now we're gonna be pressing on Miller. What about Emeer? Well, you know, passing out on the couch. Yep, there we go.
Hold it!
He went out like a light.
He was helping me look for the letter, and then it happened. Out of the blue, he just passed out, the rascal. He collapsed, and his eye rolled back. He wouldn't move.
It almost sounds like he died.
No such luck, unfortunately. That horrible sound. He was grating his teeth. I thought my ears would explode.
Yep, not sure what it came over me. Never happened to me before, sleeping like that. You know, I didn't just fall asleep, more like I sort of blacked out, I guess. No idea why. Oi, you guys, what do you think? Any ideas?
I think it bears no relevance, and there you have my honest answer.
I think it's relevant.
And I think it's good that I wasn't there. But the question is, why did he black out like that? Oh, well, we've got evidence. Your Honor, I might have a clue as to why this witness suddenly lost consciousness.
You do? Really? Did you work it out, Louis?
If that's the case, may the defense present some evidence. Which piece of evidence shows why this man fell unconscious?
Take that!
Let's show up to tomato juice. Mister, I believe the reason you might have lost consciousness at the crime scene is tied to a certain piece of evidence.
What? Wasn't it just because, you know, I had a bit too much fun the night before?
I don't want to know what you do at night, Emeer. No, it was because of this. The tomato juice. You passed out right after drinking this juice. Therefore, it's not unreasonable to assume that there's a direct connection between the two. Tomato juice does not make people fall unconscious, Sir Blue Knight. Exactly, that's why something must have been added to the contents of that bottle. Something like a soporific. What? English? I don't even know. You mean a sleep medicine. And if a soporific was mixed in with the tomato juice, that means Sir Belduc would have been unconscious at the time he was assailed. Assailed?
This sketch! Have another look!
The red liquid trickling down from the victim's mouth is proof that Sir Belduc must have drank the tomato juice.
I had failed to consider this.
Inquisitor Barnum, I bet you remember saying this to the court. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. However, if the victim was unconscious when his assailant was strangling him, then the killer could have committed the crime through a small portal, big enough to put their arms through after all. And I think we'll probably just stop right there with this revelation. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and if you guys like what I'm doing, please subscribe, comment, and whatever, stuff, things. Have fun!